amateur lifting question. So someone who recently just added to their household, what's a
Congratulations,
good,
by the way.
yeah, appreciate it, man. How do you kind of balance like lifting, especially with young? I'm not sure how old your kids are, if they're super young or kind of
The oldest is 7, and then they go down from there.
Okay.
How many do you have?
I have 3.
Okay.
So at least one's kind of taking care of themselves.
Yeah, she's pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah, there you go. But I don't know, like, how did you balance that? Did you balance that?
I think so. I have the two perspectives. When I was active duty, you could just work out at lunch, and like you're going to be gone anyway, so you might as well just work out while you're there. Sometimes 2 a days, depending on your job. Once I got out, I was like, all right, any time that I spend outside of the house working out is going to take away from something.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I have it figured out, and that was part of the garage gym decision, was I didn't have a gym that was close enough for me to like sneak out before the kids wake up, work out, and then come back in time for work. So I was like, I'm either going to have to do it during work or, build something out at my house. So that's kind of the beautiful thing with kids now, is that they can be a part of that time. And I think going into that, like if you're like, I'm going to stock up my garage gym so that my kids can be a part of this. So every morning I usually get up. My kids are super early risers, so I get up with them at like 5:30, and then I'll work out for like an hour. Usually, it's very generous rest time, so I will say that. So it's not all.
Nice.
I'm not lifting for that full hour, but it's cool because I see them. I mean, they started to kind of involve themselves, sort of like they hang from the bars and they'll try to lift, small little weights and stuff like that. But I see them kind of having an eye for that more and more over the years. And so I think that's something that if you can swing it, it's pretty cool. That was something we were fortunate, like when the whole COVID thing happened and they were sending us stimulus checks. I was like, I didn't ask for this, but I guess I'll just buy a bunch of squat racks and weights and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
And then I bought like a $30 rusty Airdyne off eBay down the street. I had to go pick it up from like a crack house, but it's like, I mean, it's so loud when you move it, but I slowly pieced it together. And so I think that's something. So my wife stays home, and then I travel not a lot, but I'd say, fairly frequently for work. And so when I'm home, I'm like, I don't want to be more of a burden on her and be like, hey, I'm going to the gym for, 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It's been cool to try to incorporate them into that. It can definitely lower your intensity when you're like gearing up for like, your top end set and your son wants to hear Paw Patrol. You're like, all right, I'll put it on then and just take a couple more minutes of rest.
Baby
but it's cool.
Shark, boom, boom, doom, doom,
yeah, man.
Baby
yeah.
Shark.
I mean,
are you familiar with that song?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be his ad read music.
Yeah.
It is fun though. Like, I think it's cool to make that sort of a family thing. And I hope that when they get older, that's just normal for them. Yeah. Even if it's not powerlifting, like, but they're like, this is just part of the daily routine, whatever that looks like for them. I hope that becomes normal.